One CDU here are going to be reacting to SCP-136, The Naked Doll by SCP Exposed. So I hope y'all enjoy this spiel and let's get into it.
High on the top of a cliff in the bleak Scottish Highlands. They had only been living there for a few months and were still getting used to the remoteness. It was a cold winter night and the wind was howling outside. The branches of the trees in the garden knocked against the window pane. The light from the moon shone on the bedroom floor. The little boy laid in bed shivering, not just with cold, but with fear too. He didn't like being alone in his room at night because the old house made strange creaks and noises. He was convinced that it was haunted. A sudden roll of thunder and a flash of lightning lit up his room. He saw something in the corner of his bedroom. It was a small doll, not very pretty, about 20 centimeters tall. It definitely wasn't his, and he didn't remember seeing his little sister with it before. He switched on his bedside lamp and looked to where he had seen the doll, but there was nothing there. The next morning, he told his parents about the doll. They didn't have any idea what doll he was talking about. His sister didn't have any doll fitting his description. He forgot about the doll for the rest of the day, but when it was time to go to bed that evening, he felt a little bit nervous. His mother reassured him that everything would be fine. He settled into bed and she kissed him goodnight. She had only been out of the room a minute or two when he heard a noise. It was a woman laughing. A shiver ran down his spine. The sound gave him the creeps. He was scared to open his eyes, but something inside himself forced him to. He let out a whimper as he saw the woman. She was floating slowly through the air towards him. As she got within a meter of him, she reached out her gnarly hand towards him. Welcome back to SCP Exposed. Today we bring you Euclid class subject SCP-136. But before I go on, please be sure to click the subscribe button so you don't miss out on any creepy SCP cases like this one. The Foundation has deemed that there are no extraordinary containment procedures necessary for this subject. It is to be kept in a standard containment room made of concrete and measuring 10 meters by 10 meters by 10 meters. It is to be kept in a locked transparent plastic case, measuring 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters by 0.5 meters. The case is to be placed on a table in the center of the room. Video surveillance is unnecessary when it is not being actively examined. As of Incident I-136C, of which an incident report has been filed, only D-Class personnel may enter the SCP-136 containment chamber more than once in any 30-day period without special authorization from one of the Foundation's directors. The Foundation has noted that it has no effect whatsoever on non-humans. It presents two phenomena. SCP-1361 is of variable appearance, but generally manifests as a crude clay, wood, metal, or cloth doll, usually identifiable as female and usually between 10 and 30 centimeters in length. The doll appears as male in only approximately 10% of viewings. This first phenomena has no unusual properties that can be measured empirically. Mass spectrometry of samples taken from the doll return typical results for its present material. When the doll is damaged to the extent where it no longer appears human, usually upon removal of the head or all limbs, it vanishes completely and reappears in a new configuration within a 1-meter radius. Testing of complete vaporization is still pending. SCP-136-2 manifests only when SCP-136-1 is viewed for approximately 20 minutes, though, like the first phenomena, it has a somewhat variable form. The first indication of SCP-136-2's presence is a sound of laughter of a gender corresponding to the appearance of the first phenomena. Personnel who hear the laughter report it as sounding creepy or scary. The laughter lasts for an interval of anywhere from 5 seconds to 2 minutes, after which is a period of silence, usually of about 5 minutes. After the period of silence, the second phenomena appears along with the abrupt disappearance of SCP-136-1. The second phenomena is a nude, not composed of any matter or a partially nude figure, corresponding to the gender of SCP-136-1. It ranges in size from 1.9 to 2.1 meters, is always posed in a provocative manner, and moves through the air at a very slow walking pace, approximately 0.2 meters per second, toward the subject or subjects. If more than one subject is present, each will see the form as moving towards him or herself. As it approaches, the volume of the laughter increases. By the time it is within 1 to 2 meters, the subject invariably has gone rigid in fear, collapsed, or backed up until he or she hits a wall. It usually remains stiff until it is within approximately 5 centimeters of the subject, whereupon it will scream once before vanishing. 10 to 15 seconds later, SCP-136-1 will reappear in its previous location in a different configuration. The apparition has a very disturbing appearance. Its mouth is far too wide, frozen in a rictus of pain and arousal. It will occasionally bare its teeth or lick its lips. Its irises take up almost the entire sclera of its eyes, which appear mad and bloodshot. If female, it will have an absurdly narrow waist and large breasts. The experience of viewing SCP-136-2 is profoundly upsetting and has universally caused night terrors for up to 6 months in every single subject, possibly as a result of its psychic intrusion. After a viewing, most subjects are unable to leave the containment room without assistance. Interestingly, Class D personnel with a history of sexual deviancy still experience a strong negative reaction to it. Some personnel have expressed serious concerns about this subject. Various reports have been made by Dr. Myers, the first of which was regarding Dr. Simon. He was the 25th subject to observe 136-2, and the fourth to do so voluntarily. The viewing proceeded in the usual manner with no anomalies. Approximately 2 hours after viewing the subject, Dr. Simon, who was in the break room with several other researchers, screamed and dropped his coffee mug. He incoherently indicated that he could see the apparition floating down the hall towards him. Dr. Morris and Dr. Harrison restrained him, assuming that he had simply been badly shaken by the experience. After approximately 2 minutes, all present in the room fell unconscious. Dr. Savoya recovered first and proceeded to awaken her colleagues. Dr. Simon had lapsed into a coma, and he died 3 days later. After this incident, Dr. Myers put in a request for the subject to be reclassified as Keter class. This request was denied due to the fact that we cannot dismiss the possibility that the unfortunate incident wasn't caused by some other telepathic SCP.
Yeah, cause it's weird, cause she look like she doesn't kill nobody. It looks like she just put fear on you for. She just put immense fear in your body that you can't do nothing. That what she is. She is creating fear, and you could push you in a state for like 6 months. She's not killing you. She's just putting you like in fear. She's like Scarecrow. That she just wants you to be afraid.
Dr. Myers later reported that on another occasion, a Foundation agent had shoved some Class Ds into the containment room. The agent waited outside the room whilst the phenomena did its thing. Dr. Myers went on to say that he was helping them drag the subjects out of the room when everything went black. He said that he woke up to one of the Foundation's agents smacking him in the face and 3 D classes in comas. He concluded that the thing is killing people. We haven't learned anything new from it in 10 years, and we can't use it, he wrote. I request that we find a way to terminate 136. Maybe get a psychic SCP in here with it.
It is killing people. How? But how though?
It's not.
But it said like they pointing them in a fear for this thing for like 6 months. But I ain't never heard that she putting them in comas and just killing them.
Like burning it will do anything. The request for termination was denied. 136 is proving very valuable for enhanced interrogation. The following is the incident report, I-136-C, made by Dr. Myers. This is out of control now. You all saw what happened. Hell, everyone in 1,000 yards will never forget it. And the D class in the room is gone, and nobody knows how. At the very least, we need to do some more rigorous screening of the Ds before sending them in. We would have found out that he was at risk ahead of time. Thank God we figured out what set it off, though. Request reclassification to Keter and permission for attempted termination of 136. The request is denied. Dr. Myers is to be removed from administration of SCP-136. Disposition of 136 is to be given directly to an overseer and one of the Foundation's senior doctors for exclusive use in enhanced interrogation. SCP-136 was removed from the children's bedroom of an abandoned house in the Scottish Highlands that was reportedly haunted. A routine sweep of such reported homes by Foundation personnel discovered SCP-136 when one of the Foundation agents fell from a second-story window screaming. What do you think of that SCP case? Please leave your comments down below.
Interesting. A favorite type of SCP. It's long, but this one was just a little bit creepy. Well, I hope you all enjoyed this video. Like and subscribe to the channel and subscribe to SCP Exposed. I will see you guys later. Bye. You're welcome.